What's up, guys? So about 2 years ago, I made a video on the 90-10 rule where I talked about how 90% or most women want the top 10% of man in fitness, finance, physical appearance, conversational skills, and above average bedroom skills, which really depresses a lot of men because they can't live up to those standards. I also talked about how the majority of dating now is on dating apps, and women will sleep with like these chads or really good looking guys, and these guys will pump and dump them or maybe smash twice and then discard them. But these women will leave thinking that, oh, because I slept with this guy, I can tie someone like this down into a long-term relationship, which we all know is false, and it leaves out the majority of men. So because of all the things I just mentioned, hypergamy and the westernization of modern culture's beliefs on society and feminism, we're seeing these men, and I'm gonna pull up the article right now, who cannot or involuntarily celibate, turning themselves into women in order to just get something. All right, this is crazy. This is the world we live in right now, guys. All right, so I'm gonna pull up this article. It's by Mary Hennington. I'm gonna link it in the description box below. You guys can follow along if you want, but this will blow your mind. A new report from Sanjana Friedman at Pirate Wires documents a phenomenon that's been a source of discussion among the extremely online for a while and has now made it to the open. Transmaxing is a subculture of young men who embrace trans identities not because they believe they were quote unquote born into the wrong body, but simply because they can and because they think it'll make their lives better. It's a phenomenon that reveals more nakedly than ever before the true face of the cyborg era, a culture caught between increasingly powerful technology and the collapse of any coherent narrative about how best to use it for the good, into a general sense that all narratives are interchangeable. As Friedman tells it, transmaxers are strikingly post-ideological about their self-remodeling, at least compared to the official trans narrative, which draws heavily from the 20th century civil rights discourse. In this view, gender identity is immutable and trans people are just born that way. Many transmaxers, though, modify themselves just because they want to. Well, I just want to do it because I realize the society I'm living in as a man is not as beneficial to me as it would if I were to be a woman. Many transmaxers, though, modify themselves just because they want to. Some report making up stories of gender dysphoria for medical professionals, while others self-induce gender dysphoria by watching sissy hypno, a type of hypnotic and sometimes also pornographic stimuli are combined with messages encouraging the male viewer to embrace feminine looks or behavior. The post-ideological feel of the phenomenon is underlined further by how often such individuals shift from embracing the ideologies associated with right and trans identities associated with the left. For the most part, the contest between trans activists and their womanist opponents have been conducted on the field of gender. What it is, whether it has discrete categories, how or whether it relates to physiology, and so on. A smaller handful of writers have drawn attention to the transhumanist implications of claiming a right to remodel one's physical body based on an unfalsifiable inner feeling. This vision sees medicine not as a restorative practice intended to return us to a shared understanding of normal, but as a potentially limitless method of upgrading normal according to personal desire and preference. This has been openly advocated for some time as well by some trans activists, such as pharma entrepreneur Martine Rothblatt. But the debate has so far stayed largely within the pre-cyborg moral frame of equality, justice, and rights. Yet as Friedman notes, what's striking in the transmaxers is the way they're cheerfully abandoning the civil rights narrative in favor of an open, wholesale embrace of the transhumanist look. Many transmaxers report that the interventions have significantly improved their lives. Why, such individuals might ask? Does anyone need a quote unquote born in the wrong body story to justify something that works on its own terms? And it's here that we catch a glimpse of the real face of the cyborg era. an emerging cultural paradigm in which technology is the ideology. The opinions someone endorses while down an internet rabbit hole matter less than the cumulative psychological impact of spending all day every day in that rabbit hole, a condition of radical body dissociation and increasingly measurably real-world social isolation. Once self is thus dissociated from the body, there's no obvious reason not to treat that meat suit as an instrument to be optimized, whether via hormones, surgery, or other interventions in pursuit of greater happiness. And again, the story matters less than the fact that you're simply doing it because you can. What a freaking world we live in. We've gotten to the point where men feel so isolated and deprived sexually that they're willing to change their organs and their facial structure in order to look like a woman, in order to have some sort of dating life. This is just really sad to me, and it's a result of hypergamy and how everything has sped up in the dating game and the dating scene. A lot of guys are getting left behind. A lot of guys feel left out. A lot of guys feel like they need to be in the top 1% of every category, and if they don't, that it's better to just transition and being a woman. You guys need to understand that the world is transitioning. It's going to leave you behind if you don't speed up and catch up to it. You either decide to play the game and do your best at it, or you decide to sit on the sidelines and not do anything about it, maybe transition into being a woman. Unfortunately, we become a society where the truth doesn't matter, and whatever goes, goes. However you feel that day goes. And this is what happens when you have movements like that. You know, there's going to be people that use and manipulate that system for their own gain and for their own advantage. And the way you've been treating men nowadays in society, can you really blame these sort of rejected men to go down that path of transitioning into a woman, when everything in society for the last decade or so now has catered and pandered to the modern day woman and shamed men in return? This is the type of stuff that happens. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying this is what's going to happen, and this is where the future is headed. You either build yourself up to be a top 1% man, top 10% man, or you just leave the dating scene entirely or transmax into a woman. This is what we've gotten to as society. Crazy times, guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think. Articles in the description box below. Drop a like if you enjoyed and you want to see more content like this, and this can reach men that are maybe thinking about doing some crazy shit like this. See you guys next time. Have a blessed rest of your day.